but she's really working on it. She's pushing up and down. Here's one that's a bit more refined. This is a good line. I really like this. This is going to take years to get. And here's Jenna just kicking up and using her wrist, locking in her position, and just balancing a handstand on a single bar. You can do this against the wall with the little guys, kind of have them pull the leg up. Ooh, little Yurchenko in the background. And guys, the way I structured this video, it's to hit the things that I think are important, and some of them I take up just so you can see where they go. But this is pretty much the timeline I'm trying to follow. So I would spend a lot of time on the flyway because most kids are going to tug. So you can see when she wasn't swinging, there's no flip. So when they start to move their legs, if they tap, freeze, and just open their fingers, there's going to be flip because the upper body's going to catch the lower body. Very simple drill for your little guys. Tap, tap, freeze, and drop the bar. And this is a real little one. And these are really good things for them to understand. I'm trying to teach them a concept. And then I can, put a little more swing behind it. So I'm going to slow this down. I want a tap. So I want a fairly round downswing. This is a brand new flyway. This is level 4. And a strong kick. And see, she's looking at her feet. And she can feel those legs try and flip her. And there she goes. Okay? Here's another one. This is even a bigger kick. So this is what I want them to learn. I want them to learn that pattern, that the tap is the rotation. If they tap easy, they can stretch it out and lay it out. It flips slow. If they can tap faster, they're going to flip faster. Okay, and they got to understand that. I've been using the rings a lot because if you can see this, I'm going to slow it down. It's a really big tap. They really feel it's like the old flying rings. Some of us might remember those. And then they can tap and stretch, and there's no fear of hitting the bar. Okay, so I can put an athlete up there, and she can do 500 of those over a 6-month period of time and really get comfortable flying. So I really like that. You can make your straps longer at first and then shorter. And then we're going to teach the leg speed. So if you just watch this, I'm going to actually go through our flyways real quick. A tap to a flyway with the arms up. I suggest arms up. A bigger tap, and you'll see she flips to her back. A handstand, and she flips even more. And we start to wind up and get good leg speed with a giant, and it's a double layup by just dropping her arms. And honestly, if you take your time, it is just that simple, but you've got to develop this. So our bridge skills for level 6, getting ready for level 6, all right? So we're going to work on our multicasts right here, and I'm going to zip up to some big handstands. Essentially, guys, you're going to start small, and then you're going to go big. I'm just going to point out the things that are very important to me. A really good kip that's working around the bar and has contact with the bar. If I don't come up in contact with the bar with my hip and my thigh when I cast, I don't bend the bar very much, and the bar doesn't shoot me up, which is really what we want to get to. And I'm not going to go through all the levels. I'm just going to go through the concept, and then I'm going to show you some good handstands. So this is a great little kip. She goes glide kip, drop kip, reverses her kip, and keeps going. So I really like the way she's on the rail, her head position. Okay, we want a lot of this. Okay? That's awesome. That was a little girl at Region 1. And then I want to work on the strength and the balance. So a press handstand, there's a direct correlation. So you can start these guys when they're really little. Roz is really young, not perfect form, but she's getting comfortable going up and having the strength to hold herself up and not be afraid. Here's one that's a little bit more refined, a little bit more control. And so I would certainly start athletes casting up and almost putting their feet on and then pressing up to the handstand. And that's how I build it up. And what we need to understand is we need to get a pattern of movement, and then we need to put speed behind it. So this is the same thing with a little speed. She's got her feet on a frisbee. And you can use 2 frisbees too. That's easier. Really easy for the kids to develop the snapping up of the hips for a straddle handstand. A straddle handstand is much easier, and I'm gonna show you why here. I work a lot of things backwards. It's about 20% easier if you're going with gravity rather than pressing against it. You'll also tend to get more push and straight arms rather than the kids bending. So this is a reverse handstand. And I want you to watch how far she goes forward with her shoulders on this. Slow it down. So if the athlete casts to this position, they're really opposite skills. Where the armpits open first, there's balance in a straddle handstand, her hips above her hands, and then the legs come together. Okay, and you notice you don't have to lean forward much for that. It's not very scary. Okay. Now, if you watch the long one, she has to lean forward a lot more. This is where the kids get scared. And also the line is very long, so it's harder to get it to tip up to handstand. The straddle is easier. You need to train both. Even the top kids often do both. They'll do a straight body in the beginning of a routine, and later on, when they're a bit more fatigued, they'll do a straddle. So here's just a series of good cast handstands. And that's a straight body. And that's a straddle. And let's just slow this down and look at it. So she's on the bar like the little gal was, we showed earlier. Her eyes are forward, her shoulders are forward. She beats the bar, leans in, and drives it up to a handstand. If it's a good handstand, she's going to activate her wrists. And this is a straddle. I want you to watch. There's not even close to the same amount of lean on this one. The armpits open, then the legs close. So that's what we're trying to develop. All right, clear hip. I'm going to hit